would you use?
We'll say the our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the agenda. We're looking for motion. Motion made by Corey. Second by Kurt. Roll call, Connie?
Okay. Corey?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Alan? S. Wanda?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Alan?
Yes. Item C, old business, school board vacancy. Wanda Lattiser and Mr. Lloyd Petra.
One. I guess I could explain as to how this item actually got on the agenda. I believe that there was a law that became effective May 2nd, 2018. It was a result of Senate Bill 2265. And at that time, I believe there was a meeting that occurred with some of the state officials. And after the meeting itself, it was requested, this was also right about the same time we were also in the process of conducting the school board election. So at that time, it was requested that we acquire legal counsel on the matter. Then the result of the legal counsel was that the candidates running for school board would do the criminal background checks to make sure that they were in line with tribal code, which was required by this new law. And then in addition to that, as a result of that meeting, the sitting board members also conducted the background checks. And at that time, I believe it was just requested that this item be placed on the agenda sometime in June. Sometime in June, it was placed on there. It was tabled at that time. And the vacancy that's mentioned on there, or the board member in question, is Mr. Doug DeLorme. However, at this time, he is under a suspension during the course of the state audit. There was a petition filed for there to be an audit conducted. We are still in the process of the audit. The next site visit for the audit will be, from what I understand, sometime in November. And then typically after that, there's usually 90 days is when the audit is completed. So we're looking at probably January, February, some time around there. The audit does need to be complete and certified prior to 9 months after the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th, 2019. So the audit will be completed no later than March 31st as required by law. And other than that, it was tabled last time. There was also a suggestion, I believe, at the last meeting this item was on the agenda, was that we acquire some type of an interpretation from the Attorney General's office. I did try that once before. I also asked again today, and the Attorney General's office suggested we contact legal counsel.
I was going to ask you, it's not so in other words, it's not a vacancy. I'm just suspended at this time.
See, then at this point, that's correct. You are suspended, and what else did we have here? And during that time, in addition, I believe legal counsel had suggested the background checks, and I believe it was recommended that then board president request that. I believe that was done so in a letter. And
There was a date on there that he would have had the background
check done by.
But the background check itself, though, wasn't required underneath tribal law. It's only whenever you happen to file here, and same thing with the state. See, and that was one of the things too, that either you're a candidate or you're not. And I don't believe that the board has the right to make a decision to remove a member based on a background, because it doesn't, it's not a ground for removal. Either you're a candidate or you're not a candidate. You don't go into midstream and say, well, I'm gonna call a background check, because we just talked about that, Dwayne. And there is nothing in there that calls for a midstream background check. There's nothing. It's just a background check when you begin, either you're coming, you're a candidate, okay, or you're appointed.
So it didn't apply to the
It
current
didn't-
board members?
No, it didn't. Not to the board members that's already in office. You can't go into midstream because that's an ex post facto law. You know, you're taking and you're imposing a law on somebody and you're saying, okay, now we're gonna use this to try to remove you. It's not a part of, it's not a part of the cause. It's not a part of the cause. It's not. I didn't do nothing wrong. There has to
Well,
be
I don't
cause.
think anybody's saying you did anything
Well,
wrong.
then
It's
you
just
can't,
that,
then you can't remove
it's
me.
just that all board members needed to have a background check done.
But there's nothing on the state law that requires that, only as a
This is
candidate.
tribal law.
Yes, and tribal. Because if you're gonna use tribal law, guess what? You're gonna use the century code, Alan wouldn't be an eligible candidate. Because you're not an enrolled member. So you can't use tribal law.
No.
He wouldn't be. Because if you're gonna use Title 13,
Yeah.
you're gonna use Title 13, it's all enrolled members.
What you.
But you can't mix apples and oranges here.
I'm
You
not-
already canvassed
I'm
the
not-
election.
I'm not.
You canvassed the election according to the state.
Listen,
Did you? Did you canvass the election according to the state?
did I canvass?
Did you guys canvass it?
I wasn't on board.
Yes,
Okay.
they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You can't go back and forth and use this and use
Because
that.
you have 4 or 5 days to canvass the election. And pertaining to, just because somebody's not enrolled there, this is a state board, and you can't discriminate who can run as long as they reside right in the district.
Exactly.
But you're.
But now, no, stop, hold on.
No, you-
No, you're trying to use Title 13.
I have the floor.
You're trying to use Title
I
13.
have the floor.
But you're appointed, I'm elected.
It don't make any difference.
Yeah, it does make a
I have
difference.
the same
It does
right to
make a
be
difference.
appointed. No.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Because this is all about, you're sitting here a part of the overthrow me.
No.
Yeah, I know what's going on here.
No.
We all know what's going
It's not
on.
about anybody.
Yeah, you know what it's about. Yeah, we know what it's about.
No.
This whole ordeal, trying to pass these different bills. You might as well call them the Doug DeLorme bill.
Well,
I mean, you've been working on this stuff for 8 months.
I didn't create these bills.
Well, you helped with it too, didn't you?
No.
You say you didn't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have took the position. Did you run before? And you lost. Am I right?
What's wrong with that?
Okay, you lost. Do you respect democracy? Do you respect democracy? Do you respect democracy?
I do, Doug.
Okay then,
I do.
you wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, you're not either.
Well, I'm suspended by the governor
Yeah.
until after the audit. I respect that.
You know,
But here you guys want to try to encourage and push it more. Let wait till after the audit's over. Let the governor decide. I don't believe that this board has more power than the governor.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the board has more power than the governor?
we were elected board.
You weren't elected, you were appointed.
It didn't make any difference.
Yeah, it does make a big difference. That guy was elected. That guy was elected.
Show me in the Century Code, if I'm appointed, I don't have the same voting rights as.
I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
are.
say that. I'm saying that the whole process of all this stuff was an overthrow. And you know what it was.
Wait, I have a question.
You're making everything.
You know what it was. I'm not,
You're
come on, I'm
making
not stupid.
everything
We know what's
sound,
going on.
either am I.
Yeah. We know
You're
what's
making
going on.
everything sound like you're blaming the board.
I'm not blaming the board.
It's not me. I didn't pass this law right here.
But here's the thing.
It's a government. If a tribal government has prescribed by tribal law a resolution qualification for eligibility for public office related to criminal conviction, which are more restrictive than the laws of the state, the qualification for eligibility for membership of a public school board of a school district located on tribal land may not be less restrictive than the qualification for eligibility.
So you're using you're using Title 13, am I right? Okay, hold on. What law are you using? What law are you using?
Tribe.
Okay, then. That's what I'm talking about. Underneath the tribe, you do a background check when you become a candidate, okay? That's it. You don't do it after that, okay? And then also, as a
The
candidate,
tribe is the one that
Okay.
signed it.
and also as a candidate, you're an enrolled member. You can't mix back and forth and use what you want to use.
I don't really-
Either you're gonna use the tribe, and which you haven't used yet, you use the state. Because here's the thing you gotta understand, these dollars are not contract dollars, they're public dollars.
Losing 20.
They're public dollars.
Losing, Senate Bill 2265.
Yeah, now you go to the state, okay then, I'm all right
They're
with
both
that.
under, I'm reading the
You
2265.
can't use both of them. And if the tribe, the state doesn't have a right to impose a bill on the tribe. They don't, it's sovereign, there's two separate
I'm
governments.
not gonna sit here and argue with you all night. We have to move on here.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
here to address my issue, because you guys are bringing it back up again.
This, we get on as board members, we have to,
Then you need to know what's going on,
yeah,
Alan.
I do know
No, you
what's
don't
going
know
on.
what's going on. You can't mix back and forth. This is governed through the, is this board governed through the Century Court?
Governed through the century. code
Okay,
as
there we go.
specified as
Case
local
closed.
law.
You can't use, no, the state doesn't have a right to impose. They don't, and you know that, Dwayne. You know they don't.
So Doug, right now, so if we're in jeopardy, if we don't follow the state guidelines and stuff, they come back in here
The governor made a decision, let him finish, let him finish it out.
for state foundation aid money.
There's no jeopardy. There's no jeopardy. He made a decision,
I'm not saying, I said if there is,
there's not.
are we
no.
willing to jeopardize
There's not.
$10 million?
What, who's in jeopardy? Who caused it to be in jeopardy? Nobody. Because I pushed for an audit, that's jeopardy?
And the audit is happening.
Okay then, and then the governor made a decision, and he said, wait till after the audit. He made a decision, he said, Doug suspended until after the audit. So is this board more powerful than the governor?
Remember when we had our meeting?
Are you?
And we asked
No,
about.
I'm not
the
voting.
we said
I'm
we'd get a
opposed. I'm
decision
coming to you
early
guys,
September. What
even
is
though
it
you're
now
appointed.
next year?
They gave us a notice, it just came in the mail.
What,
Or
are you imposing your audit this year with that same audit? Is that why it's gonna take so long?
No, it was always through June 30th, okay? And then the one thing we have no control over is the state auditor. They're the ones setting the dates.
Well,
And they just gave
they
us the
gave us the
notice.
date of the second week of
They,
September.
they told us they were gonna be back here this week and be done right about the second week in September. We just got an email within the last week stating they're pushing it back due to busyness in their office.
Pushing it back like 4 months.
They're pushing it back to October, November, and after the completion of their field visit, they go back and finish. And then I believe also, speaking with the board president, we're asking them to report the status to the board. I believe it was on the 28th, and if there were any questions, they would be asked at that time.
28th or what?
August.
So is
So
that
that
forensic
special
audit that we passed
Uh,
included in that?
Mr. President, the audit that is taking place right now is a petition audit. The one that I made the motion for is a forensic,
Performance.
performance audit, yeah. That's what I requested, and that is still on the table.
Because it
Yep.
passed.
Yep, it passed, and so the only thing that, we're waiting for is, bids. So that is still needs to go through.
I brought that to the attention yesterday.
Yep.
I was reviewing the minutes from 2017 and 18. There's 2 meetings, 19. Brought it to his attention?
Brought it to our attention, and we went back and looked at the minutes, and they very specifically stated that this item was brought up before. We asked the state auditors the question, would this be inclusive? And they told us at that point, yes, it would. So I guess we could further clarify that when we had the call with them on the 20th.
I don't think we need to call, I think we just need to go through with it.
I agree.
I think
We
there's a lot of
passed it.
things to like. really
We
good.
passed it, so it was passed already. It should be done,
It failed first and the board was unanimous on the second go around.
but it still passed.
And that was before we got on.
Yes, but it passed.
The past is still on.
Anytime the board members pass, it's second and pass, and it's up to the administration to follow through. So that still brings us back to this bill. And I don't want to sit here and be criticized or.
Nobody's criticizing you.
So Mr. Patra now, in the first place, this was supposed to go on until after the audit, am I correct?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to leave it as such till after the audit.
I'll second.
There's a motion on the floor to leave this issue until the audit is completed, second by Terry. Any discussion?
What audit?
Won't you repeat the total motion from?
If there's two audits going on, what audit are you talking about?
Well, there's not,
The one
The one
that
is
the
not
governor
going on yet.
suspended him for, right?
So then it hasn't even started yet. So,
Is it, it's the one that the governor suspended him for, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we even talk about an audit if it isn't on the agenda?
No, I mean, it's.
Or can we even make motions or vote on motions if it's not on the agenda?
It
This,
is on the agenda, it's on business number
well,
one.
he's pertaining, he made a motion to put this on hold.
so I still go back to the,
Until the audit is completed. That was your motion.
Yeah.
And it was second by Terry.
We'll put this action.
Yes.
Okay, I thought we were talking about that.
No, no,
The audit.
the audit.
For the audit and stuff, until we get to that audit, then we can discuss. I don't know what's coming up.
We'll let the governor decide. I mean, he's the
So I-
one that suspended me.
my question still is then, are we in compliance by having, even though the board member is suspended, he hasn't gone through the background check? That's my question. Is our board in compliance?
There's nothing that states that I have to take a background check other than me being a candidate in a comment or being appointed. None of them things on the state side,
Did all
our
current
tribal
board
side,
members that were not running for a position have to do the background check?
they were not required.
They did, they did them according to the recommendation from Stephens.
But that's an opinion, am I right?
Yep.
That's not law. That's not law. That's an opinion. You can get an opinion from anybody, but the law itself doesn't require it. Either the tribal side or state side. It's only when you're in a comment, you're a candidate, or you're getting appointed. That's what I was talking about. You can't use laws and go ex post facto on somebody. You violate their rights. That's when you're overthrowing somebody. You can't do that. That's why the laws are set up, not to protect your board, they're to protect these kids, the staff. It's about due process and rights. That's what everything revolves around, including myself. Yeah, the governor took a decision to suspend me.
Okay, yeah. Do you have any questions? Linda? Terry?
Just want the motion read back.
No, I'll Connie read it back. Connie, want to read the motion back?
Okay, so what I got was to leave it as is until the audit is complete, and so I'm assuming then that we will, leave Doug in that suspended status until the audit is.
And let the governor decide. Wouldn't you want to amend it that way, Kurt? To let the governor decide?
Aren't you supposed to be recognized by the chair before you talk?
Yeah.
You're just a public figure sitting in our meeting now. You're
I'll
not a
leave it
board
at- I'll
member.
leave it at such.
I realize that,
You're a
Alan.
suspended individual. You
I
can't be commenting on.
I realize
Okay,
that.
Kurt made the motion and Terry second. I'm asking for discussion. Ross, you have anything? No?
No.
Kurt? Corey? No, like what you said, we're not, are we gonna be in compliance? Or-
I don't know, we're gonna have to contact an attorney, I imagine.
Well, that was the first issue when this first came up.
We were, and the board, some of the board members here were advised by, the DPI people and suggested that the board president asked for, at that time, a legal opinion.
And we got that.
From,
And it says.
you can
we
get that
did
from
not be in
anybody.
compliance.
I'm not a vacancy. I'm only suspended. Wanda.
Okay, no further questions.
I do
I'll
understand,
ask for
Alan.
roll call.
But you know what? Some of these board members.
Roll call, Connie.
Okay,
I
Terry,
need to address it.
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Alan, S.
Present.
Okay, so I'm sorry, what did you say?
I didn't vote either way. I'm present. According to Robert's rules.
Abstain.
Okay, Wanda,
No.
Ross,
I'm abstaining too.
Corey,
Yes.
Alan.
No. There's 2 no's, 3 yeses, and 2 abstentions, so the abstention goes into the majority. Okay, moving on to the next item.
Which would be your nose?
No.
What's your nose then? are your yeses. If one is no, Alan Mount is no, 2 abstentions, and 3 yeses.
Yes. So moving on, new business. Approval of elementary teacher reassignments. Funding source change. Dwayne, Shannon, can you hear? Or keep you doing this?
Not voting.
Okay, I guess I could take this one for Shanna. Recently, we had a vacancy for an elementary music teacher. Jenna Blue was hired in that capacity. After some visits with administration down at the elementary, Jenna Blue and Rebecca Hansen were in agreement, according to the negotiated agreement, to basically switch classrooms. And I believe Shanna provided that documentation in accordance with the vacancy or with the negotiated agreement. Upon consultation to reassign, the recommendation is to switch funding sources between Jenna Blue and Rebecca Hansen. And I believe they both provided documentation that they were in agreement with this change.
Okay, motion made by Terry, is there a second by Corey, is there any further discussion on this? Not roll call, Connie?
Okay, Kurt,
Yes.
Alan S. Wanda,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Terry, Alan.
Yes. Item 2, approval of preschool special needs program. Terry, you taking this for Terry?
Oh, go ahead and take it for Terry. Terry could not make it. Go ahead and pass. Connie, the sheet is in our, it's 13 now.
Okay.
Folder, or not, so. What we have is, due to budget constraints, it's being requested that the PSN driver and fringe costs be charged to bus garage general fund. Again, what has occurred is there are some funding constraints in the preschool special needs budget itself. The funding allocation was received last week. And then in addition to that, there's a need for some assistance in the bus garage mechanics area itself. So a meeting was held with, I was involved in it, Mr. Keith Valley was, Harry Dakota came in prior, as well as Robert Asher. And their agreement was that suggesting that rather than the driver come out full-time out of PSN, that a portion be charged to PSN instead, and the remainder come out of bus garage. I believe after the meeting, everyone was in agreement with that recommendation.
Yeah, I was looking for motion made by Wanda, second by Terry, is there any further discussion on this? Not roll call, Connie?
Okay, Alan S.
Yes.
Wanda,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Terry, Kurt,
Yes.
Alan.
Yes. Item 3, bullying and information discussion. Ross?
Hello, I did send this over, but it didn't show up, but I'll just read it. I was basically just asked permission today to set up an anti-bullying campaign with our youth council. If I can get them involved, we do some visual campaigns.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Basically, I'll just read down this. I guess I have recently had some concerns voiced about the topic of bullying in our school system. I'd like to work on strategies to address these issues. Bullying can occur randomly or regularly. It can happen daily, weekly, monthly. In fact, 1 in 10 bullying victims bully daily, with 1 in 5 victims bullied twice a month. So that's a club. Schools must find ways to actively reduce this problem. This includes having all teachers, staff, administrators on board to prevent bullying from occurring. Our school system does address these topics in policies and procedures. I feel that enforcing policy is quite different than simply statement. I'd like to ask the board for permission to approach the Promote Youth Council chapter, invite them to part of the board on an anti-bullying campaign with the goals of reducing incidents of bullying in our school system. Together, we can create strategies to address this important issue. Our students need a safe and healthy environment in order for learning to take place. The Vermont Youth Council would be an asset to have as a partner, and I believe it would be a great engagement with our students, leading us to a successful and effective campaign. So basically, if I can have permission to meet with them, then I could put together maybe budgets, they can help us put together programs for classrooms, get teachers, students engaged, projects in classrooms, so we're enforcing bullying, not just saying it's a policy, and maybe look at repercussions afterwards. I just think it's necessary. I mean, not just with the students, I think we need to enforce it with the staff and everything, and all on schools.
Do we have somebody on staff that does that?
We have members of our staff that do the bullying, or we try to address that. We have an 800 number that we call, that students are able to call. But this is a good idea. Can we have them hook up with our student council?
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, so I can certainly, forward this information to give a contact person.
I think Ross is wanting to be involved with it.
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
so then I'll have to set a meeting with you and the council and we can start from there.
I have a question now. Would it be okay if we involve the staff and administration into the policy?
Oh, absolutely. I
I
feel it's a
believe
necessity.
that we need to involve the staff and the administration into the wording of the policy itself.
I agree, and that's kind of the thing is, I know it's not just the kids and everything else. I know that I've been, the concern is that I've been told, that the bullying is with the adults also and stuff like that. We just need to get a handle on it.
Yeah.
So, if anybody wants to be involved, I'm more than happy to have anybody, but again, I'm just asking for permission to, meet the youth council, student council, and move forward with this.
Do we have a staff people that are part of like almost like the youth council, like a staff,
We have a group of people that were taking the initiative to work towards the bullying and with the drugs and that type of thing too. So I'm not sure if they're still active now in this kind of thing.
maybe we can look at some of the staff and include them into the policy so then they can be involved in rewriting some of the policy.
Also, we have a grant writer.
We use Shane Martin a lot, whoever else we can.
So the youth council is different from the student council.
One of these,
They're
some of these,
former students.
yeah, and they're pretty young, a lot of them, so they just came to the system, so they can help guide us and give us information, stuff we won't know that happens. We can do it, so. Yeah.
Yes.
Patty Martin, we usually use for grant writing too. I'll get you in touch with them once.
That's all I have.
Now, just to let Ross
I don't think we
know,
need a motion.
he emailed me his report this afternoon. And the reason why it wasn't voted into the packet is because the agenda had already been set.
Okay.
So I went through Lana to find out if I should
Well,
vote the
thank you for
report, and
printing all up
that's
for
why
us.
we
Thank you.
handed it.
Because we keep learning to add things.
Okay.
Okay, no further business. I'll ask for a motion for adjournment. Motion made by Terry, second by Corey. All in favor? Aye. Adjourned. Thank you.
Oh, I can run and shut them off.
Just leave them on.
All right, good evening.
Well, that's next Wednesday morning, actually.